Do you know the 3 skills that you can use when you're receiving feedback to make sure that you use that feedback well and accept it for what it's supposed to be so that you can use it for your growth? If not, today is your lucky day because that's what we're going to hit. Now, if you haven't already jumped in on the previous videos, you got to jump in. Otherwise, you're not going to know much about why we're talking about receiving feedback with clarity, curiosity, and confidence. You're not going to know about the feedback or a conversation arch that happens. You're not going to understand why that arch gets exacerbated by the triggers that come in, the TRI, and what that stands for. You won't know how to ace receiving feedback because you'll be puzzled. You won't know what kind of puzzle piece you're about to receive. You won't know with curiosity the question to ask and how to create space, the space where real happiness and growth happens, and the space where you can choose your response, right? So I've given you a response. We're not going to hit a lot of that today. What I want to do is I want to move into 3 skills. So you enter a feedback conversation. You have got a question. They say, Russ, I've got some feedback for you. Or Russ, can I give you some feedback? Now here's what you say. You say, sure. Is this something I'm doing well or something I need to improve? It's not negative or positive feedback. Go back to video 1 to understand that. All feedback is positive. At least it should be, because feedback is meant to help us move forward. So we're going to find out, is it just something I'm doing well or something I need to improve? Once I know that, then I'm going to enter that conversation knowing, is this going to be appreciation, coaching, evaluation, or which side of evaluation is that going to be on, right? And then, to be able to handle this information, here are 3 skills that I want to give you. So we've been working on some mindset. Last time we worked on a skill set. Here's a question that you've got in your back pocket. You just always bring it out. And on this one, 3 skill sets to help you out. One is, let's say you get the information and you're like just devastated by it. You're like, okay, I know it's true. I know I'm in the right relationship, but this really hurt my identity. And I just need to move forward with it, but I am just hurt. I'm hurting. Then sometimes what we need is what's called a supportive mirror. This isn't someone we go to just vent to or to say, can you believe they said that? Or I don't think this is true. What we're doing with a supportive mirror, and what I did here is I tried to draw one of those mirrors that flips, both ways. On one side, it just shows you like the norm, like here's you. Yes, you look great. Yeah, that would be the supportive mirror side. And I go to my wife, Hillary, or a friend, and I say, oh man, I just got some hard feedback. I know it's true. Got it from the right person. Like, it's just hurting me. And they can just like, give me the hug, help me feel heard, right? They don't need to help in this situation. It's just hugged, helped, or hugged or heard. And I just need some time, right? And that person to like comfort me and help me through that. But I'm still going to use that feedback to move forward. I just got to get through the hurt moment for a second. The other way, you turn that mirror around and now it's like magnifying everything for us. And so now, as we're looking at the magnification, that's kind of like, that's what we call the truth mirror. And what we're doing is we just got this information. And what we want to do is we want to go to a trusted source, someone who's close to the situation that can give us more light and just magnify that a little bit more for us, because there may be something that we're not seeing, some information that isn't quite coming through in that original conversation. So we're going to go to a truth mirror and say, hey, can you help me understand this? I don't know if there's a blind spot. I'm just not seeing it, but here's what I was told. And we just take that feedback to the person as a matter of fact as we can and say, help me see this. Like, is that something that you see? Is this something I need to improve? Is there that performance gap there? Well, whatever it happens to be, you're just trying to get not a second opinion in the way of validating it as much as understanding it. That's what we're trying to do, is understand this feedback in a way so that we can move forward. And so that person's there to help give us that truth. Okay, so that's one. When you get the feedback, you can use either of those mirrors. Now, we got to be careful to not misuse them, because if we do misuse them, then all of a sudden what we're doing is we're using somebody else to help us get this feedback out of our life and why it wasn't justified in the first place and why we don't need it. Nope, that's not the purpose of those mirrors. It's to help you on the emotional side feel better as you're going through this, or to help you on the mental side to understand it better so that you can implement it. Okay, the next one is this. When you're in a feedback conversation, we're going down a track. They're like, hey, can I give you some feedback? Sure. Is this something I'm doing well or something I need to improve? Actually, it's something you need to improve. Okay, so here's the improvement track that we're headed down. Often, with that improvement, there's going to be other variables or things that we want to talk about that have affected that. And we're going to try to switch track. And so you got to catch yourself when you get into that, yeah, but thinking. You're like, yeah, but you're trying to switch track. That might also need to be spoken about, maybe even in that conversation, but that should become an and at the end. Or, and can we talk about this also, rather than a yeah, but. And so the tactic on this one is, first we've got the awareness of, oh, okay, yes, I can recognize when I start switch tracking, because now sometimes it is, we just want to shift the blame, or it's really like this other thing is affecting it, and that's why this is happening. Okay, then that's going to be the and. So the skill here, after we recognize switch tracking, is you and I, as the receivers, are responsible to signpost. We signpost in that conversation. We don't have to call it out necessarily, but we recognize we do it, and we say, oh, hold on. Okay, I know we need to go down this, and I'd like to talk about that afterwards because I feel it is significant to the conversation that we're having right now. So quick example. Hopefully you've gone back, watched the videos. You know my conversation with Hillary after my not so great dad moment with Ella. She's like, okay, yeah, it's about Ella. And she's going to give me some coaching here on how to be a better parent when it comes to a discipline situation like that, even a simple discipline situation. And what I want to say is, yeah, but Ella should be following the family rules. Yeah, but Ella should be paying attention to her studies. Like, she needs to follow her rules and be a good student. That's my yeah, but. Now, does that need to be addressed? Absolutely. It needs to become an and. So what we need to do is we need to go down this track of, okay, Dad, how can you be a better dad in this situation? And then we can talk about Ella. But like, I needed to signpost right then, recognize, oh, because I did do it. Yeah, but I don't know if those are the words, but it really did go to Ella. And I was like, nope, got to bring it back to me. This is about me. And then we can talk about Ella. Okay. The third skill that we can use is, let's say that we're getting some kind of evaluation, maybe even appreciation, and it's even not quite what we thought. We're like, oh, well, I appreciate the appreciation. I thought I was actually doing better. Or, oh, that evaluation did not go as I saw it going. Now I'm going to use stars here because that's what we're used to, like our internet ratings and stuff, 5 stars. And so obviously when you're going into your quarterly review, your annual review, when you're getting appreciation, you want it to be like 5-star, right? Sometimes we might be disappointed. It might be 1, 2, or 3 stars. And we're like, I thought I was at least a 4, right? Why am I not getting this? And so when that surprises us with their original score, the skill that I call this one is the second score. Now the second score isn't, okay, here's what I'm going to like get next time as a second score. The second score goes along with that Viktor Frankl quote that I shared in our last training video, which is this, and I'm going to read it to you one more time. Between stimulus and response lies a space. In that space lies our freedom and power to choose a response. Choose a response. So you just got information along the lines of, maybe it's not the full appreciation you thought you should get. It's not the right evaluation that you thought you were going to get. The coaching seems maybe different from what you thought you were doing. Whatever that rating is, here's your moment to create space and get the response. Your second score is actually how you respond. A 2-star score can get a 2-star reaction, even a 1-star or a 0-star reaction, right? We've seen that. Maybe we've experienced it, right? What we want to do is we're going to take that and we're just going to allow ourselves to receive it, accept it, and sit with it using some of the other skills that we've got, like using mirrors, gaining that clarity. So here's what we do is we say, okay, that is not in our mind. Okay, that's not what I was expecting. I guess you could say, well, that's not what I was expecting, but I'm going to do better. And that is the response. That's the 5-star response, right? Even if we could just get a 4-star, which is, I'm not going to blow up over this. I'm at least going to stay calm and I'm going to sit with this information and I'm going to evaluate and I'm going to comb through it. I'm going to figure out what's helpful and how to use that to move forward. Because again, the way that quote finishes is this: in our response lies our growth and our happiness. So you want that growth. You want that happiness. Your response to that initial score is your second score. That's the score you give yourself. They gave you the first score. This is the score you give yourself, not on how well you did on whatever they're talking about, but on how well you're responding to this very moment. So as we get going today, 3 skills that you can take with you to help with more confidence and create more clarity through these feedback conversations. Again, number 1, the supportive mirror and the truth mirror. The supportive, kind of like the regular mirror side. Hey, you're going to be okay. Yeah, I get it. It's hard. Flip it the other way, the truth mirror. Hey, I need to see things more clearly. It's going to magnify things for you. Who's that person that is really going to be, the non-bias, the one who can help you see, is this really a blind spot or something that needs to be improved? The next is, we want to be aware of switch tracking, that yeah, but idea. Yeah, but what about this? Or they didn't get the reports in on time, or there wasn't enough finance, whatever it happened to be. Okay, well, that can come up later. It needs to be an and part of the conversation, not a but part that's going to take us off. So your responsibility then is to signpost right then, because you'll be the one switch tracking, and say, okay, I understand we need to get down this one, get the information from them, and then I can share that information, or we can have that discussion, whether now or later. It needs to be a part of it. Okay, and then our last one is that star rating that I'm using here of whatever that appreciation, coaching, or evaluation happened to be. If it's not what you expected, if it's less than you expected, then what is your response going to be? And just remember this: between stimulus and response lies a space. Own that space. In that space lies our freedom and power to choose a response. In our response lies our growth and our happiness. I want to help you grow. I want to help you be happy. You have a responsibility to yourself to be the best leader, to your team to give them the best resources so that they can lead themselves and keep going forward, and to your organization to grow leaders. So allow me, in fact, invite me to come in and help you. I've got a powerful training, again, that I can use based on Everyone Communicates, Few Connect, 5 powerful principles and 5 powerful practices that we can bring in. And I've got 3-hour training. I could do this so many different ways to help you out. Executive coaching, team training, organizational speaking. I want to help you. You've got the responsibility to yourself, your team, your organization. The great news is you don't have to do the work of that responsibility. You can bring me in and I'll do the work for you, and you get all the credit and you fulfill your responsibility. All right, my friends, next time we're going to be looking at 3 cautions. So we've looked at so far 3 triggers, 3 types of feedback, 3 skills to help us through that feedback. And now we're going to look at 3 cautions as we wrap this up. So don't miss it.